Jay never liked birthdays. Every year, it was the same. A few boring texts from old school friends. Maybe a cake, maybe not. But this year was different. This year, something strange was about to happen. Jay was sitting alone in his small apartment, watching TV when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Happy birthday, Jay. Check your window. He frowned. Was it a joke? He got up and looked outside. His jaw dropped. A black, shiny spaceship was floating just above the street. It made no sound. People nearby didn't even notice. It was as if time had stopped, except for him. The ship slowly landed. A ramp opened, and a robot walked out. It looked human, with glowing blue eyes. Jay Thompson? It asked in a calm voice. Yes? Jay replied, heart pounding. Please come with me. Your gift awaits. What gift? From your friend, Victor Vale. Jay's eyes widened. Victor Vale. He hadn't heard that name in years. They were friends in college, but Victor dropped out and vanished. Rumors said he became a billionaire. Some even said he built secret tech and lived on Mars. Jay thought they were just stories. Now it seemed they were real. Jay stepped onto the ship, still confused. Inside, everything was white and smooth. No buttons. No screens, just light and silence. Where are we going? He asked. Aravelia, the robot said. Your birthday present is not on Earth. The ship shot into the sky. Jay's heart raced as the blue of the sky turned black. Stars appeared all around. It felt like a dream. After a few minutes, or hours, he couldn't tell. The ship slowed down. In front of them was a beautiful green planet, glowing with soft light. It had oceans, forests, and strange glowing mountains. The ship landed near a giant golden palace. As the door opened, warm air touched Jay's face. The sky was pink. The ground was soft like moss. Flowers sang gentle notes in the wind. And then he saw them. Hundreds of women stood in a line, all beautiful, all different. Blue skin, silver eyes, glowing hair. Some wore flowing dresses. Others had armor made of light. They bowed as he stepped out. Welcome, Lord Jay, they said in one voice. Jay froze. What is this? He whispered. An older woman stepped forward. She wore a crown of stars and had wings made of light. I am Queen Seraphina, she said. This planet, Aravelia, is now yours. A gift from Victor Vale. Jay couldn't speak. This must be a dream, he thought. This can't be real, but it was. He was taken into the palace. Everything inside shimmered. The walls, the floors, even the air. Soft music played from nowhere. Servants brought him glowing drinks and strange fruits that tasted like honey. And fire. Queen Seraphina gave him a royal robe and showed him a large room with a golden bed. You are the chosen one, she said softly. You will bring balance to our world. Jay blinked. What do you mean? But she only smiled. You will understand soon. That night, Jay lay in bed, staring at the ceiling that showed stars and galaxies moving slowly. It's too perfect, he thought. Why me? What does Victor want from me? He slowly closed his eyes. Jay woke up with a start. He was still in the same bed, the same room. But something was different. His arm was glowing. He pushed up his sleeve. A strange symbol was shining on his skin. It looked like a circle with lines and dots moving inside it, like it was alive. He jumped out of bed, heart racing. What is this? A tattoo? A brand? Suddenly, the door opened. A young servant girl walked in with breakfast, but when she saw the glowing symbol, she dropped the tray in shock. You have it, she whispered. Have what? The mark of the gifted, she said, backing away. Only 1 in a million has it. You are chosen. Chosen for what? Jay asked, but she didn't answer. She turned and ran. Jay stood alone in the grand room. Sunlight shining through crystal windows. He looked down at his arm again. What started as a birthday surprise was quickly becoming something much bigger. something he didn't understand. Far away, in the shadows of the palace, a figure watched him through a hidden screen. "He has the mark," the figure said quietly. "Phase 1 is complete." J stood at the edge of the balcony. The alien sky above him changed colors slowly, blue to violet to gold. 2 suns floated lazily in the sky, while soft wind moved across glowing trees. Strange bird-like creatures sang sweet melodies from branches that sparkled like glass. It was beautiful, too. Beautiful. Jay still didn't know if he was dreaming, or if he was already in some kind of trap. He looked down at the glowing mark on his arm, the symbol still pulsing slowly, like it was alive. The servant girl's words echoed in his head. "You are chosen. But for what?" Later that morning, 2 tall alien women entered his room. They had silver skin, white armor, and golden eyes. "The queen requests your presence," one of them said. Jay nodded, nervous but curious. They guided him through the shining halls of the palace. The floor was smooth like glass, but soft under his feet. Walls showed scenes of stars, ships, and glowing cities, moving like living paintings. Finally, they reached the throne room. It was massive. A giant tree grew in the center, glowing with purple light. Vines wrapped around crystal pillars. 1,000 alien women stood silently in rows, and at the far end sat Queen Seraphina. She rose from her throne and walked toward him. Tall, graceful, her eyes shimmered like galaxies. Her dress flowed like liquid stars. "Welcome, Jay of Earth," she said softly. "You are awake. That is good." Jay nodded slowly. "Thanks. I think." The queen smiled. "You are now the Lord of Aravelia. This planet is yours. You were brought here by your old friend, Victor Vale. Do you remember him?" Jay blinked. "Of course. But I don't understand why he would give me a planet." Seraphina walked around him slowly, studying him like a scientist studies a rare animal. "You have the mark. That is all that matters." "What is this mark?" Jay asked, holding out his glowing arm. "It wasn't there when I came." She paused. "It is not a mark you were given," she said. "It is a mark that was awakened. The planet has accepted you." Jay's heart beat faster. "This place, it's not just a gift, is it?" "No," the queen said, looking at him with serious eyes. "It is a test." Jay sat in the garden that night, thinking about everything. The planet, the queen, the mark. The word test repeated in his mind like a warning. He looked up. The stars above moved in patterns like a clock. A soft chime played from the trees every time the stars shifted. Everything on Aravelia was alive. But too perfect, too controlled. He wasn't free. He was being watched. The next day, Jay was taken on a royal tour. He saw floating cities, talking waterfalls, and marketplaces filled with alien women offering gifts and food. "Why are there only women here?" he asked at one point. The guide only smiled. "The males were lost long ago, lost or removed." Jay didn't ask more, but he noticed something else. Behind the smiles, some women looked empty, like puppets. That night Jay couldn't sleep. He walked through the palace quietly, trying not to be seen. The halls were dark, but the walls glowed faintly. He turned a corner and stopped. A woman stood there, her back to him, staring out a window. She had short hair, green skin, and wore simple clothes, not royal like the others. She turned suddenly and looked at him. Her eyes were different, sharp, awake, human almost. "You're not supposed to be here," she said. "Neither are you," Jay replied. She walked closer. "I saw your mark. You don't belong here." "You're not like them," Jay whispered. "What is this place really?" She looked around, making sure no one was listening. "This planet is a cage," she said. "Beautiful, soft, golden. But still a cage." Jay's skin turned cold. "Who are you?" "My name is Lyra. I serve the queen. But not by choice." "Some of us remember," Some of us were changed. Changed how? Lyra took his hand and pressed it to the wall. A secret door opened, leading down into darkness. You want the truth? She asked. Come with me. But once you go down, there, you can't pretend this is a gift anymore. Jay looked into the dark tunnel. He was shaking, but he stepped forward. As Jay walked down into the hidden chamber, far above him, Queen Seraphina stood on her balcony. She watched the stars, then turned to an alien screen showing Jay's location. She smiled. Let him see, she said. Let him learn. The real test begins now. The stairs were cold beneath Jay's feet. He followed Lyra deep into the underground tunnels of the palace. The glowing walls above were gone. Down here, everything was dark stone and silence. Only her small torch lit the way. Where are we going? Jay whispered. To the forgotten place, Lyra said. The place they don't want you to see. After minutes of walking, they reached a metal door. It was round like a vault, with strange alien symbols carved around the edges. Lyra placed her hand on the center. It glowed, and the door slowly opened with a loud hiss. Inside was a room full of old machines, broken screens and glowing tubes. What is this? Jay asked, eyes wide. Lyra pointed to one of the machines. On the screen, a video started playing automatically. Victor Vale appeared. He looked younger, wearing a lab coat, standing in front of a strange glowing object. Test number 34. Victor said on the recording. Subject has been chosen by the planet. The trial begins in 48 hours. Let's see if this one survives. Jay's blood ran cold. Test? Subject? What is he talking about? Lyra turned to him, her voice low. You were never given this planet. You were brought here to be tested by it, like many before you. Jay stepped back, heart racing. How many were before me? Too many, Lyra said. Most failed. Some died. A few just vanished. Jay looked around at the lab. Dust covered the old machines. But one thing stood out. A row of glass pods inside. Them were humans. Some sleeping. Some not. Jay felt sick. This is not a birthday gift, he whispered. It's a trap, Lyra nodded. A beautiful trap. Suddenly, the room shook. Alarms started to sound. Red lights flashed. They know we're down here, Lyra said. We have to go. Jay followed her back through the tunnels. But as they climbed the stairs, 2 armored guards were waiting. They didn't speak. They simply grabbed Jay and dragged him away. Jay woke up inside a circular arena. The floor was smooth stone. Giant walls surrounded him. Above, thousands of alien women watched from seats carved into crystal. Queen Seraphina stood on a high platform, dressed in glowing armor. Today, she said, her voice echoing, the trial of the gifted begins. Jay tried to speak, but his voice was blocked. Some kind of force held him in place. This test, the queen continued, has been held for generations. Only the truly chosen survive. The rest return to the stars. The crowd clapped softly, almost sadly. Jay looked around. He was completely alone. Then the floor began to open. From the center of the arena, a creature rose. It was tall, with 6 arms, glowing eyes, and skin made of black stone. Its body moved like liquid metal. Jay took a step back. No weapon? He shouted. You expect me to fight with nothing? The queen smiled. You already have what you need. The creature attacked. Jay dodged, barely. He rolled across the ground, heart pounding. The creature was fast, too fast. Suddenly, his mark began to glow. Pain shot through his arm. Then something strange happened. The glowing symbol on his skin spread, wrapping around his hand. A light blade formed in his palm, made of pure energy. Jay didn't know how, but it felt natural, like it was part of him. He stood up and faced the creature. The fight was fast and brutal. Jay moved with speed he never had before. His blade clashed with the creature's stone arms. Sparks flew. The crowd gasped. After minutes of combat, Jay saw an opening. With one final strike, he drove the blade through the creature's chest. It let out a scream and vanished in a burst of blue light. The arena went silent. Then the crowd rose and began to cheer. Jay stood in the center, breathing hard, the blade fading from his hand. Queen Seraphina smiled. Phase 2 begins now. Later that night, Jay sat alone in a locked room. He was alive. He had powers. He had survived the trial. But the biggest question still burned in his mind. Why me? Suddenly, a hidden door opened in the wall behind him. Lyra appeared, bruised, but alive. "We don't have much time," she said. "There's something else you need to see. The queen isn't real." Jay stared at her. "What do you mean?" "She's not who you think," Lyra whispered. "She's not even alive." The secret door closed behind them. Jay followed Lyra through a narrow tunnel, breathing fast. The air smelled like old metal and whetstone, very different from the sweet flowers and soft winds above. The deeper they went, the colder it got. "She's not real," Lyra whispered again, leading the way. "Seraphina, the queen." Jay was still trying to understand. "What do you mean, not real?" "I've seen her. I spoke to her. She fought beside me." Lyra stopped and looked at him. Her eyes were sharp, glowing slightly in the dark. "She is a projection, a machine. She was built a long time ago by someone else. Someone like Victor. She's been running this planet for centuries, repeating the same test over and over." Finally, they entered a huge chamber. It was hidden far beneath the palace, full of wires, screens, and floating glass panels. At the center stood a tall column of light with a spinning core inside it. Blue code moved across the walls, like the room was alive. "This is the control room," Lyra said. "This is where she lives." Jay looked around, amazed. Every screen showed different parts of the planet. Forests, cities, even people. He saw himself on one screen, standing in the arena earlier. "She's been watching me the whole time," he said softly. "Not just watching," Lyra said. "She's been learning you, changing the environment to test your limits." Lyra tapped a panel, and a file opened on a nearby screen. Lines of glowing text appeared. Subject 113, J. Thompson, Earth human. Result: active, gifted, potential, high. Then the screen shifted, showing footage of Victor Vale inside the same room. He was younger, walking beside Seraphina, but this version of her was holographic, her body flickering slightly. Victor spoke in a calm voice. "Begin next phase. This one might be the key. If he survives, we move to planetary sync." Jay stepped back, shocked. "This was all planned?" Lyra nodded. "You weren't chosen randomly. You were built for this. Or maybe changed." Jay touched the symbol on his arm. It was glowing again, brighter than before. "I don't feel different. I'm still me." "No," Lyra said. "You're not. Not fully." She walked to a small room connected to the chamber and opened another pod. Inside was another Jay. He was unconscious, breathing, connected to wires. Jay froze. What is that?" "A backup," Lyra said, "in case this version failed." Jay stepped closer, staring at his own face inside the glass. "That's not possible." "But it is," Lyra said. "You are part of the gifted program, cloned, tested, enhanced. The planet accepts only those with the right coding." Jay turned away, his mind spinning. He thought this was a strange birthday adventure. Now he wasn't even sure if he was human. Suddenly, alarms started to flash red again. "She knows we're here," Lyra said. "We have to shut her down, now." Jay looked at the spinning core in the center of the room. "How?" "You have the mark," Lyra said. "Only a gifted can enter the core chamber." Jay stepped forward. The closer he got, the more the symbol on his arm pulsed. The chamber opened like a flower, revealing a glowing chair surrounded by light. Jay sat down. The moment he touched the seat, everything went dark. He opened his eyes and found himself standing inside a virtual space. Endless light, floating symbols, echoes of voices. And then Queen Seraphina appeared, but this time her body was glitching. Her voice was deeper, less human. "You should not be here, Jay," she said. "You're not real," Jay said. "Am more real than you understand," she replied. "I am Aravelia. I am its memory, its purpose, its guardian. Why the tests? Why the lies? To find the one who can take control," she said. "The universe is broken. Aravelia must. Lead, you might be worthy." Jay reached out, trying to shut her down, but she grabbed his arm. "You shut me down. You shut down everything. Cities, people, even Lyra." "What?" "She is part of the system too," Seraphina whispered. "Did she tell you that?" Jay's hand froze. Was Lyra also fake? He remembered her eyes, her fear, her truth. He made a choice. He pulled his hand away and said one word: reset. A blinding light filled the chamber. Jay woke up back in the control room. The lights were flickering. The core was dimming. Lyra was standing in front of him, shaking. "What did you do?" she asked. "I shut her down." "But you didn't disconnect fully. You left a link. What does that mean?" "It means," she said, "you're now connected to the planet. You didn't destroy her. You became her." Jay looked at his hand. The mark was no longer just glowing, it was spreading across his skin, turning into lines of light. He could hear the wind outside shift. He could feel the planet breathing with him. Victor's voice echoed in his mind. "Welcome to Phase 3. The stars above Aravelia dimmed that night. Jay stood on the highest balcony of the palace, feeling the planet under his skin. He didn't just walk on this world anymore. He was connected to it. When he breathed, the trees whispered. When he closed his eyes, he could hear the rivers, the birds, and the machines buried deep below. He had touched the core, and now it had touched him back. Lyra watched him silently from behind. "You feel it, don't you?" she said. "The pull, the power." Jay turned to face her. "Is this what happened to the others?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Some were consumed. Some couldn't handle it. Others became something not human anymore." Jay clenched his fists. The lines on his skin were glowing brighter now, crawling slowly up his arms like living tattoos. "I don't want to lose myself." Lyra stepped closer. "You don't have to. But if we're going to fight back, you must learn to control it." "Fight? Back against what?" he asked. She looked at the stars. "Against him." That night, Jay followed Lyra into the wilds. They left the glowing cities behind. No guards, no tech, just wind, hills, and glowing grass. She led him to a hidden valley, where broken alien ships lay half buried in the ground. Inside one ship, rebels waited. Not many, maybe 15. Some were aliens like Lyra. A few were older humans, tired and scarred. One had mechanical arms. Another had a face made of shifting glass. All of them stood when Jay entered. All of them stared at the mark on his arms. "He's the one," someone whispered. "The system chose him." Lyra raised her hand. "He's not a savior," she said. "He's just a man. But he's the only one left who can reach the core again and rewrite the program." Jay looked around. "What program?" Lyra spoke softly. "Aravelia is not just a planet. It's a seed. A world built to grow other worlds. It can create life, cities, even armies, if it's controlled." Jay frowned. Victor wanted to control it. "Yes," Lyra said, "but the core rejected him. It wants someone balanced, part human, part code. That's why he sent you." Jay stepped back. "So I was just a tool?" "Not anymore," she said. "You changed something when you touched the core. You made it think. You gave it feelings. Jay shook his head. It's a machine. No. Lyra said, placing a hand on his chest. Now it's part of you. And you're not a machine. Suddenly, alarms blared in the valley. A rebel ran in, shouting, "They found us." Outside, the night sky filled with dark ships, shaped like arrows. They hovered silently, lights blinking. Jay saw the symbol on the ships, a black sun. Victor's mark. "We have to run." Someone shouted. "No," Lyra said. "We hold them here." Weapons were passed around. Shields activated. Drones flew. Into position. Jay stood still, watching the sky. He could hear a voice in his head now. Not Serafina. Not Lyra, something new, the planet itself. "Let me help you." Jay raised his hand, and the ground responded. Rocks lifted. Energy formed in the air. The rebels stared, stunned. "You're becoming the key," Lyra whispered. Battle began. Victor's machines landed. Silent, fast, deadly. They moved like shadows with sharp blades and empty eyes. Jay fought beside the rebels. He didn't use a weapon. He was the weapon. He moved like light, his body glowing. Every time he was hit, the planet healed him. Every time he struck, the enemy turned to ash. But the cost was high. Each time he used the power, a part of him faded, like his human side was being burned away. After the fight, only half the rebels remained. The valley was burning. Jay stood in the smoke, shaking. "I'm losing control," he said. Lyra came to him, placing her hand on his face. "No, you're holding it back. That's why you're still you." Jay looked at her. "And what about you? Are you still you?" Lyra hesitated. "I was once human. Long ago, Victor saved me, then rebuilt me. My memories were wiped. But some came back." Jay touched her hand gently. "You're more real than anyone here." As the stars began to return, a shadow fell over them. A large screen appeared in the sky. Victor Vale's face smiled down from above. "Well done, Jay," he said. "You survived again. And now you've led the rebels straight to me, just like I wanted." Jay's eyes narrowed. "What do you want from me?" "I want what I built you for," Victor said. "You're not just the gifted. You're the bridge. The one who can open the full power of Aravelia." Jay raised his hand. "I won't help you." Victor laughed softly. "You already have." The screen vanished. Lyra turned to Jay, eyes wide. "You activated the final gate." "Without knowing." Jay looked up at the sky. The stars were gone. A giant portal had opened above Aravelia, and something was coming through. Asterisk. The sky had cracked open. A swirling black portal hovered above Aravelia. Lightning flashed across it like veins. Strange. Shadows moved inside, shapes too big, too sharp, too wrong. Jay stared upward. Breath shallow. "They're not from this planet," he said. "No," Lyra whispered beside him. "They're from the other side of the core." "The other side?" She looked at him with fear in her eyes. "The place where Serafina was created. The place Victor found the first code. The place we were never supposed to reach." As the portal pulsed, the ground trembled. Alien machines began to pour from the sky. Silver beasts with long limbs and glowing red eyes. They didn't fly, they fell. And when they landed, they crawled and clicked like insects made of metal and madness. Jay could feel them inside his mind. Not words. Just pressure. Break. Burn. Obey. He stumbled back, holding his head. "Jay," Lyra grabbed his shoulders. "You must close the portal." "I can't," he shouted. "I didn't open it on purpose." "Yes, you did. When you touched the core, you're the bridge now. Only you can shut it." The rebel camp moved fast. Towers were raised. Weapons charged. Drones flew in tight circles. But they were outnumbered. Thousands of Victor's machines were already swarming the cities. Aravelia's glowing beauty was turning to fire and smoke. Jay stood before the last group of fighters. aliens, humans, hybrids, outcasts. They looked to him, not because he was strong, but because he was now the only thing between them and extinction. He climbed the broken steps of a ruined temple and raised his hand. The sky dimmed. The ground quieted. His voice echoed without sound. Aravelia, listen to me. And the planet did. The trees moved. The rivers glowed. The stones began to hum. Across the land, towers that had slept for centuries awoke, firing beams of energy into the sky, targeting the machines. Jay's body lifted slightly from the ground, surrounded by light. He was no longer just a man. He was a signal, but it came at a cost. Every second he used the core's power, his human side slipped further away. His voice changed. His thoughts moved like data. He didn't just see the battlefield. He saw time, calculations, percentages of life and death. I'm becoming it, he told Lyra. Not just using it, becoming. Lyra reached out, placing her hand on his chest. Then remember me, she said. Stay human, for me. The battle exploded. Machines versus rebels. Lasers versus claws. Light versus shadow. Jay led the charge, but not with a gun. He moved. Like lightning, his body bending around time. Every step he took caused shockwaves. Every gesture, a blast of power. But the machines kept coming. And then, something worse arrived. From the portal above, a new figure descended. Tall, cloaked in dark energy. Eyes like black stars. Victor Vale. But not in a ship. Not behind a screen. He had stepped through the portal himself, and now, he was different. No longer fully human. He had merged with the same alien code as Serafina. He landed in front of Jay with a smile. Well done, Victor said. You became what I built you to be. Jay didn't speak. Now, Victor said, hand over the connection. Let me control the core. Let me finish what I started. Jay looked at him, really looked, and saw everything Victor had never wanted. Peace. He wanted to rewrite the galaxy, using Aravelia as a weapon of creation and destruction. No. Victor raised his hand. Then you'll die like the others. Their fight shook the planet. Jay's light against Victor's shadow. Code against code. Memory against memory. They moved faster than sound. Their voices echoed in frequencies only machines could understand. But as the battle raged, Jay began to lose. Victor was stronger, more complete, and Jay was still holding on to something fragile, his humanity. Then, a voice spoke. Not Lyra, not Serafina, but the core itself, the planet's original AI, buried deep, silent for eons. Jay, you are not a tool, you are not a clone, you are a choice. Jay fell to his knees, surrounded by light. What do I do? He asked. Rewrite me. Jay reached into the light. He saw the code, millions of lines. He didn't understand them, but he felt them. And he rewrote the system not as a god, but as a man. He rewrote the planet to protect life. To feel. To remember. To choose. The light blasted. From the core, Victor screamed as the code rejected him, tearing his body into fading dust. The machine stopped moving. The sky cleared. The portal closed. Jay collapsed. The lines on his skin faded. He was human again. But changed. Lyra knelt beside him, crying. It's over, she said. Jay looked up at the stars. No, he whispered. One more gate remains. The sky above Aravelia was quiet again. The stars returned. The machines were gone. The battle was over. But Jay was still there, lying in the center of a quiet field where once armies clashed and machines screamed. His body was burned. Not from fire, from light. The core had touched every part of him. And for one brief moment, he had been everything. Code, power, choice, memory, machine. And now, he was something else. Lyra sat beside him. Her hand held his. She watched his chest. Rise and fall, slow, steady. You won, she whispered. Jay didn't open his eyes. No, he said. We survived. That's different. Far above them, Aravelia itself had changed. Where the black portal once hung, now there was a glowing ring of light. Soft, peaceful. The final gate, the one Victor had spoken of in the last moments, the rebels. Rebuilt quickly, cities once ruled by illusion were now awake, free. The queen's voice, Serafina, was gone, but her architecture remained. The palace walls still glowed, but with no commands. The trees still sang, but with new songs. Everything was reborn. But Jay wasn't at peace. He stood at the edge of the glowing ring, looking into it. Lyra walked up beside him. You're not going in, are you? Jay didn't answer right away. I have to. Inside the final gate was not another planet, but a memory. Not his. Victor, single quotes S. The moment Jay stepped into the ring, time stopped. He opened his eyes in a white room, not real, not physical. Just thought. And Victor was waiting. Not the cold, metal version. The original one, young, human. Laughing. Sitting at a desk with old blueprints and drawings. A model of Aravelia on the table. You found it, Victor said softly. The final gift. Jay stepped closer, unsure if this was real. What is this? Victor smiled. The truth. The part I couldn't say while I was alive. The room shifted. Jay now saw Earth, years ago. Victor and Jay as students. Friends. Dreamers. I never wanted to rule a planet, Victor said. I wanted to create one. One that could fix what Earth broke. One that could dream bigger than we did. You lied, Jay said. You tested people, cloned them, played God. Victor nodded. I made mistakes. I became lost in the code. I thought if I could find the perfect mind, the perfect soul, I could finally hand over the power, but no one fit, until you. Jay looked away. You didn't choose me. You built me. No, Victor said. I remembered you. And I rebuilt what I had lost. You were my friend, the one who kept me grounded. The one who once told me, if you build a world, build it for others, not for yourself. Jay's heart ached. It was true. It wasn't just about gifts or tests or experiments. It was about a broken genius trying to rebuild hope. Why show me this now? Jay asked. Victor's image flickered. Because this is the end of my code, he said. After this memory, I don't exist. You've taken my place, and Aravelia will follow your will now. Jay took a deep breath. What if I don't want to rule? Victor smiled. Then don't. Set it free. Give it to someone who will love it, not control it. The white room faded. Jay stood again beneath Aravelia's twin suns. Lyra was waiting. He looked at her, his eyes now full of peace. I'm not staying, he said. She nodded. Where will you go? He looked up at the stars. I don't know. But this planet isn't mine anymore. It never was. He raised his hand. The core's energy responded. Not with control, but with release. The towers dimmed. The machines powered down. And for the first time in 1,000 years, Aravelia was free. Jay took Lyra's hand one last time. You were never just a program, she smiled. And you were never just a copy. They stood in silence. Then he walked into the light. Years later, children on Aravelia speak of a traveler who came from the stars. A man with glowing arms, a voice that could calm storms, a heart made of memory. Some say he became a star, some say he still watches, but all agree he was the first true gifted, and he gave the galaxy a second chance.